after the discussion of this topic related to electrostatics, we are now coming to our section of discussion, which is magnetostatics. That means where the magnetic field will be in a condition which is static or at rest, or it is not varying with time. So to start with, I have drawn a figure for you. This figure is representation of the Biot-Savart law. So first, before we go to the details, let us study, recap of this Biot-Savart law, right? You might have seen this, you have studied this Biot-Savart law before. Let us have a quick recap, right? So Biot-Savart law. So what this law states, first let me explain this figure, where this figure is a current, this A to B is a coil or a metallic conductor. So and some current I is passing through this conductor, right? So as we know that if some current is passing through any conductor, there will be some magnetic field will be produced, right? So we are going to find out that if suppose from A to B some amount of current I is passing, so we are going to calculate what amount of magnetic field or magnetic field intensity is occurring due to this current which is passing from A to A, and we will calculate at the point P how much magnetic field or magnetic field intensity is rising due to this current which is passing from A to B, right? So let us have a small brief discussion of this Biot-Savart law. So first, Biot-Savart law is what? The field intensity, will calculate the field intensity of a current element at the point P, right? So let us write it. The field intensity of a current element at a point P, right? And which is, of course, this P is at a distance of R. So we take this, consider this distance as R, at a distance R, right? So if this is the condition, then we can say that is number one is it will be directly proportional to IDL, where this I is the current which is passing from A to B, and D is taken as the small length element of the total line, right? And what? Inversely proportional to the square of the distance. That is, here if it is R, so it will be square of the distance is R square, right? And also it is proportional to the angle between the vectors DL and R. That means this vector DL, this is your small length element DL, and R is the the distance from P to this point DL, right? So thus we can also write it is proportional to the sine of angle alpha between DL and R. Okay, so this is the angle, this is the DL, right? So this is your direction of DL and this is your R. So the angle between DL and this R is considered as alpha. So it is proportional to the sine of the angle between DL and R. So you have to remember this sine. So it is related to in terms of sine, right? So if this is the condition, if this is the field intensity is related to this condition, so simply we will arrive that our expression, which is D8, will be equal to IDL sine of alpha by 4 pi R square, right? So this is your Biot-Savart law, right? So this expression gives you the Biot-Savart law, and also you have to remember that unit of H, this electric field intensity H will be ampere. Unit of this H will be ampere per meter, or A per M, right? So after this discussion, we will also know the vector representation of the same thing. In vector representation, what we will know? So let us write the vector representation. a simple vector representation. So for vector representation, we'll simply represent this dh is equals to 1 by 4 pi r square dl cross u of g or u of r, where ur is the unit vector, right? So yes, so this will be equals to 1 by 4 pi r cube dl cross r, right? So ur is represented, you can see that ur is the unit vector which I have taken. I have taken it as u, you can take it ar, br, whatever it is, just it is a variable which is representing the unit vector, right? So if you got this dh is equals to this, to find out the overall field intensity h or the total field intensity h, you simply integrate it. So h from point A to point B, h from point A to point B, this will be equals to integral of A to B 1 by 4 pi r cube dl cross r. So that will be equal to, or we can write this h will be equals to closed surface integral if it is a closed loop. So it will be we can write 1 by 4 pi r cube dl to r. So this is your vector representation of the Biot-Savart law. So in next we will go to our discussion related to the flux, right? Once we get this idea about this Biot-Savart law and this magnetic field intensity, so it is now our job to apply the concept of Biot-Savart law in different scenarios, right? So first case we are going to see about calculate the magnetic field at the center of this circular coil carrying current, right? So I have drawn a figure. So I'm going to suppose this figure, this is a circular current coil that you can see, where current I is going and passing like this and coming back here. So it's a circular kind of coil, and we consider a small length element, total length element you can consider as L, capital L, and we are considering a small length element dl, and and that is being at a distance of r from the center. We name this center as O, suppose. So we are going to calculate the magnetic field at the center of this circular coil carrying current, right? That is our job. So once we know this idea about this Biot-Savart law, we can very easily calculate this one also. So what we are going to do, I'm just writing it first. So to calculate magnetic field at the center of the circular coil carrying current, right? This is we are going to calculate this one, right? To calculate, so we know that magnetic field at the center, due to the smaller length element dl, we can calculate that first. So we will write the magnetic field dB is equals to mu naught by 4 pi I dl into r by r cube, right? So this, what is this? This is actually the magnetic field. I'm writing it here, magnetic field at center due to dl, or the small section of the total circle. So we are considering, as you know, that as I said, we are considering a small part dl from the whole circle, right? Now since angle between dl and r is 90 degree, here you can see the angle is 90 degree. This is the direction of r, and if you see dl, this is the dl is a tangential component, you can see. So from this one and this one, you can see the angle is 90 degree. So we can call this dB, we can say that dB is equals to mu naught by 4 pi I dl r sin theta by r cube, right? So from here what we get the value of dB, or the expression of dB equal to mu naught by 4 pi into I dl by r square, right? So this is the expression that we got. So this is the expression for the magnetic field, or the elemental magnetic field dB, right? This is the dB. Now our object is to find B. So for dl small element we have got this dB. Now simply if we want to find out the B, total B throughout the whole circle, so we will simply use the integration function, right? So now, so that is that we are going to do now. For total ring, up to this we have considered a small section of ring. So now for total ring we will calculate B will be equals to integral of dB. So that will be integral of mu naught by 4 pi idl by r square, right? So we take the constant terms outside the integration function. So mu naught by 4 pi I by r square dl, right? So this will be equals to mu naught by 4 pi into I by r square 2 pi r because L is a small section of the circle. So if we consider integrate this total of the circle, so we will get the circumference of a circle. So the formula of circumference of a circular is 2 pi r, right? So now, so we can write from here, it will come as mu 0 I by twice r, right? So therefore up to this is okay. So therefore we can write this B is equals to mu naught eta I or n, sometime also you can say, let us consider this n I to r, right? So this is your final expression of r. Now what is n? N is actually, now you have to remember this, n is number of turns of the circle. I mean, if this is one turn of the coil, it can be such that we have several number of turns in this coil also, like we used to have in transformers. So if for one coil, if is a one single circle is there, you just put the value of n equals to 1 and find out if there is more number of turns, you have to just put the value how many turns are there, the value of n will be like that. So this is all about, so this is the final expression of the magnetic field at the center of the circular coil carrying some amount of current, which is I, right? We come to our discussion related to magnetic flux. Like I have drawn a figure for you, so I'll explain it later. First we see that we are going to study in this section is magnetic flux. Okay, flux. So as you know, the concept of electric flux, which we have studied in electrostatics, the concept is similar to this one. So where we can find a surface, I have drawn a surface S, say you can take the overall surface as S, and I have taken a small elemental surface of del S, and through this total surface some magnetic lines of forces are passing, and I have taken from del S, from the elemental section of the surface. So I have taken a unit vector as an, you can take it at un also, like we discussed before, and the angle between magnetic lines of forces and this unit vector I have provided it as theta, right? So now we will define magnetic flux. I mean, let us define what magnetic flux is. So magnetic flux sometimes or most of the time represented as phi. It is a representation. So don't confuse that phi is also, you have got this phi term in case of vector coordinates. So there may be, as per our discussion, we will interchange our representation. So we have to do not confuse between same or similar representations. So magnetic flux sometimes or most of the time is denoted as flux through any surface held in a magnetic field B, where the magnetic field B is present, is measured by total number of magnetic lines of force or forces crossing the surface. So you can understand that magnetic flux is a term which is associated with the total number of magnetic lines of forces. So that means if you are having a surface, so how much magnetic flux is present at the surface will be actually that what amount of or what number of magnetic lines of forces are crossing the surface, right? So we can find out the overall magnetic flux in case of any surface like this by expressing this phi is equals to closed surface integral of, since this is a closed surface, so this is closed surface integral of B ds, right? So this is the expression for magnetic flux. Also you have to remember it is a scalar quantity, and unit of this magnetic flux is Weber, right? Or in short, you can Weber, or in short it is sometimes written as WB, right? Or okay, so when after we get this concept of magnetic flux, we are coming to our next section of discussion, which is magnetic flux density, right? Magnetic flux density. Okay, so this what is this magnetic flux density? Magnetic flux density is defined as the magnetic flux per unit area. So if this unit area is del S, so you will define it, but that how much flux is present in this particular small section of this area. So you can say that it is defined as magnetic flux per unit area, number one. And it's sometimes also called as magnetic induction. You have to remember that. Sometimes also called magnetic induction, right? Or magnetic field strength. So these are some synonyms of this magnetic flux density strength. And what is the representation? Representation is denoted by B, and that B is equals to phi by A, right? Where A is the area. As I said, this is phi by A means magnetic flux per unit area, right? And in sometimes also you can also express this as this B is also sometimes represented as B equals to mu H. This is a very important equation where it is related to the permeability of the medium, right? And sometimes also it is the differential element is also sometimes represented dB is equals to mu I by 4 pi r cube dl. Vectorially we can represent this by this also, dB equal to mu I, don't take it, a is outside. So this will be your representation of magnetic flux density also, right? Mu I by 4 pi r cube dl cross r, right? This is flux density. Sometimes this is also called, what is this actually? This is the flux density due to a current element, that means if some current element is present and people are asking you to find out the magnetic flux density, so you will simply use this expression for finding out the flux density due to a simple current element, right? And so unit, let us talk about unit also. Unit is Tesla. So SI unit is of this magnetic flux density is Tesla, right?